All right, let's start with our top story on our favorite ghee brand, Nandini, now having a dangerous counterfeit market. Nandini Ghee has a duplicate in the market. Bengaluru police have busted a massive fake ghee racket after seizing nearly 8,136 litres of adulterated Nandini Ghee worth 1.27 crores. In fact, the gang was said to be selling this fake Nandini Ghee made by mixing palm oil and coconut oil and even allegedly used some dangerous chemicals in it. This wasn't a small scam, mind you. It was an interstate network that stretched from Tirupur in Tamil Nadu to Bengaluru. At a unit in Tirupur, the gang blended some cheap oils with a little bit of real ghee, turning almost 1 litre of pure ghee into 3 to 5 litres of fake ghee. They then packed it in lookalike Nandini sachets or bottles and sold it so efficiently into the market and across the market, making it almost impossible for consumers or customers to detect. Forget customers, even the own distributors of Nandini could not identify fake versus the real. To push it into the market, they in fact used a licensed KMF distributor who used his legal permit and distribution routes to slip this counterfeit ghee into wholesale shops and retail outlets. Even Nandini parlors housed some fake Nandini ghee products, we hear. During the raids, Karnataka police have seized over 8,000 litres of fake ghee, packing machines, cans of cheap oil, cash, phones, transport vehicles, and a classic picture of an entire fake racket that's running under the nose of authorities there. 4 people have been arrested, a KMF licensed distributor, his son, the man who arranged transport from Tamil Nadu, and the driver who delivered the goods. Samples are now been sent for forensic tests. This bust only comes just days after the Tirupati fake ghee scandal. Remember the Tirupati temple, there was a fake ghee scandal that was uncovered where nearly 68 lakh kgs of counterfeit ghee worth 250 crores was exposed, raising serious concerns about food safety. In fact, that case is still under investigation. Now, here's why fake ghee is absolutely dangerous. Largely, palm oil is being used, one of the main ingredients in adulterated ghee, and that carries 50% of saturated fat, largely palmitic acid. Regular consumption of this oil can raise LDL, bad cholesterol, increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke. When refined at temperatures above 200 degrees Celsius, we hear palm oil can also form potentially cancer-causing contaminants. Its high saturated fat content can also lead to inflammation in the body, making adulteration here not just a serious fraud, but a serious health threat. It is something that the authorities are now keenly looking into to crack down on this racket and to see how far and wide it is. Let me bring in our panelists on board today to give us a little more as a picture into this fake ghee racket, how far stretched it is. We have our former ADGP, police officer from Karnataka, Sanjay Sahai, joining us. We also have Anantu, co-convener, Safe Food Alliance, and Asha, Alliance for Sustainable and Holistic Agriculture. We also have Professor Bijan Mishra, consumer policy expert. Thank you all of you for joining us. Anantu, if I could start with you, this must be something which is very close to your heart. As someone who's been very closely looking into food safety aspect, what in your view does this counterfeit racket of Nandini Ghee suggest? If it's so easy for this to happen, something like this to happen, because we a few days ago on our channel covered the story on fake Eno in Delhi. Fake Eno that was made in such scale. So products that are being used on a daily basis by consumers are being replicated. And it's scary as it is. 8,000 odd litres, which just shows how well oiled the machinery was.
Yeah, I mean, these are double whammy, as you can call it. On the first place, there is an adulteration coming in as a product itself, where there is too much of wrong deed being done. How is it extracted as an oil? What is being added in? What is the ingredient behind it? How is ghee itself brought in? It also talks about the apathy of the consumer and also about the authorities, basically. How much of a milk is needed for 1 kilo of ghee? Are we all aware of it? It will need anywhere, but if it is cow milk for that matter, it will need 20-25 liters. So if you just do a simple math of even if it is 50 rupees or 100 rupees, how much should a kilo of ghee cost us? So if it were not costing that, we are very happy. If somebody sells a ghee for 200 rupees and 500 rupees, we are so happy to go without even thinking into that prospect of how it could have been made. That's the first part. Then there is the second part, which is even more dangerous, is the counterfeit. This faking and cheating, basically, on a different brand name. In the first place, we are talking about even Tirupati, places like Tirupati. If you were to buy ghee at such a low cost, it would definitely hit in the production cycle for sure. That's what is happening. So the simple math is how much milk you need. And then there is also the second level of it. The ghee is made from milk, and how is the milk coming to you? What is the adulteration going behind the milk? Milk itself, basically, in the first place, they might be doing a lot more processing behind it. They might be taking the cream off with the creamers, and then the skimmed milk, there is an external fat added. That was what was traced in Tirupati for that matter. So whether it is in the God's place as a prasada or to the consumer, there has been a big amount of adulteration and counterfeit that is coming in. It is very important for all of us to understand it.
You know, what are the red flags? If I may ask you, and if I could ask also our consumer policy expert, Professor Bijan Mishra, how do you really look for red flags when you're buying products to know if it is fake or real? How do you differentiate them?
Excellent question, Navina. Very good question. You know, what I firmly believe, you don't expect a consumer to go into a shop to do mathematics and calculations. The consumer goes into a shop expecting integrity, transparency, accountability, assurance of quality. He goes in because he knows that the authorities who are supposed to be doing surveillance and assuring quality are doing a good job. That's why he goes into a shop which is reliable for him, which is a neighborhood shop or maybe a good branded outlet, or could be sitting at home ordering from some of the good platforms which is selling those products, believing that it is as per quality standards, it is safe, and the consumers buy it.
Yeah.
Look at this case which you have just exposed. You know, the police has worked very meticulously to catch the culprit.
Yeah.
And they have caught the culprit. So when they have caught the culprit, they have fully analyzed the modus operandi, the scheme which works. How does it work? In what manner it works? Where does it work? And how does it work? So it's no rocket science that the police and the investigating authorities, they do not know how fake products are manufactured in our country. It is a very simple, in my view, is a very simple mathematics in terms of trying to understand the strategy which is adopted by these culprits to do food adulteration, which is not only dangerous, it also threatens life, which you have mentioned in your opening remarks. You know how serious it can be.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that there is a clear-cut non-accountability in terms of the regulators and the surveillance system which is working in our country, which is not transparent, which is supposed to be drawing samples, making it public, ensuring that there is a recall, assuring that the supply chain is robust, it is reliable, it has an integrity. You know, these are the areas which we have to work on, and which the police knows, the Food Safety Authority knows, the State Food Authority knows. But the people who are being paid to do this job, they know that they can get away without being accountable. And that is why the poor consumers, they become victims. Because they don't know, they can't recognize, you know, a Nandini Ghee which is fake and which is original. They can't know it. They don't know it. Please, and have a heart, you know, you don't expect him to be calculating what is the raw material cost and what should be the MRP and all that.
Yeah.
Know that the MRP is something which is Santo Santanum, and they will be charged only that much of price which is there marked in the MRP, and they merely pay that with a smile. And if they get a discount, they are more than happy. But the point which I am making today to you all is that the authorities which are supposed to protect my safety, who are supposed to assure my quality of products, they are found sleeping, which the police has exposed.
Absolutely. And my question to you is also, can we hold the brand Nandini itself responsible?
100%. 100%. I always say that to the brands. That if your brand is fast moving, it is very popular, you have to be extra alert and careful, because that is the brand which is going to get targeted in terms of counterfeiting. So I always tell the brand owners that, look, you need to be alert. You need to find a mechanism in terms of tracing and tracking your product. You need to expose, you need to work with the police, you need to work with the food authorities to ensure that your product is not counterfeited. It is the brand owner's responsibility. I fully agree with you, Nabina, that the brand owners needs to be taken to task also, because they are being lenient. And I do not know why. What does in our country, it doesn't make the brand owners become more proactive. I don't understand why.
Yeah. No, we're always, our reflexes are more post-mortem than prevention.
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, they only wake up when, see, their business is getting hurt, but they don't bother because they're making enough profit.
Because I also believe that they don't realize the scale of it. But look at the scale. We also have Sanjay Sahai, who's a former cop in Karnataka, joining us. Sir, why don't you tell us? The scale of it is alarming. 8,000 odd liters of fake ghee that was found. And Nandini has, as a brand itself, has no clue about it. The police finds machines and a whole counterfeit factory. We are, in fact, flashing some of those visuals for you. So worth a couple of crores. That's the extent. And the best is, or the worst part about this is that the distribution. They've gone through a licensed KMF distributor who's taken his legal routes that they push real Nandini ghee to push fake counterfeit bottles.
One thing is very, very clear that Food and Drug Administration in this country does not exist. So there is a completely regulatory crisis which we are seeing, because drugs or food, if it is inspected, audited at regular intervals on a very random sampling basis of even 10%, I think this would have come to light, I think, much earlier. The second issue is whether people want this to come to light or not, or it is also a standard business like the seconds of liquor. So that I have absolutely no idea. The third issue is that in 2018 only, this sort of a racket was caught. And as the earlier speaker was talking about, if the brand has a value and it has a commercial scale, which is something which you can be envious of, there will be copycats which will be there all around the place. Next is that you have an authorized KMF distributor. He is a part of the same game, and I'm convinced of the fact that this whole distribution network is both compromised and contaminated. And whatever we have touched upon is not even the tip of the iceberg. It is a standard well-oiled machine. I will take the liberty of going slightly out of the way, that it is a standard well-oiled machine which is happening, and might be large number of people are even aware of it. So that is where we stand. We did not take a cynical view that this has happened, that has happened, this is happening from Tirupati, it is happening all over the place. If they have not been able to be scared of Tirupati sort of a shrine, then KMF and all that, they don't come anywhere near. You see the quantum which is caught, and how do they catch? I don't know what the intelligence was. They say it is because of some pattern analysis or things of that nature that they found something awry with the pattern. I believe that discrepancy in the pattern was looked by somebody else who is not a part of the distribution machine or is not a part of that particular chain. He picked up something, he started pursuing it, and we got what we got.
What a shame. I mean, if this large network is, flourishing right under the nose of authorities, I only wonder what, first of all...
We had Maggie flourishing for 32 years.
So Nabina, can I come in?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nabina, you see, let's forget about the good old days, when we didn't have technology, we didn't have mechanisms of tracing and tracking recall, in systems to be put in place. Today we have technology, which is enabling, which will ensure that we will be able to trace and track in terms of how many packets got packed from legitimate sources and how they are being marketed. and where they are. And this is going on now all over the world. And we Indians, our software engineers are making it for overseas companies, other countries, but we are not engaging those talents to do it in my own country. I don't know why. And again, the issue is the state government is completely found sleeping in this matter, in such matters. I have been a member of the Food Safety Authority representing consumers in the authority. And I have always seen in these meetings, the state governments always, the representatives talk about lack of infrastructure, lack of manpower, lack of this, lack of that. Arey, that is not my business. As a consumer, I'm paying my taxes. You are mobilizing money. You should have as many inspectors as possible, but please make it transparent. Please make it accountable. Any heads have rolled after this exposure has happened?
Correct.
Has anybody got punished? I have
No,
not heard that.
just the person who was running this got arrested. His son is arrested. The man who gave the transport truck is arrested.
That is just
Very
shameful.
small.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nabina, that is just putting the dirt under the carpet. Come on. I mean, there are big kingpins who are playing this role. Everybody, how did this exposure
No, that's
happen?
what I'm saying. Look at the arrests. The arrest is, one is the KMF license distributor has been arrested. His son is arrested. Man who arranged transport from Tamil Nadu is arrested. Driver who delivered the goods is arrested.
First of all, the officers who are concerned with food safety for those states, they should lose their job first. They are supposed to be.
My question is, how do you track it? How do you know how? I mean, can we entirely blame the system? How do they see every? How do they check for every? You know, in a bunch, in a whole carton, in a whole carton of Nandini Ghee carton box, like a box of Nandini Ghee, there could be 5 real ghee boxes and the rest are fake. How are authorities entirely responsible here? How can they identify? Anantu, if you want to come in too.
Yeah, I would want to. See, there are two things here. We are again going into only the first part, which is just a counterfeit or a fake or a fraud. So cheating, basically. They have been using the well-established brand and bringing in a counterfeit product. That is just one part of the problem. And if we were losing our energy only on that, so what happens to the second stage where the ghee has been again and again, whether it's Nandini or it's the Tirupati Prasada or somewhere else as a simple for a consumer product in the market, why is it being, there is an adulteration? This authority that we are talking about, the monitoring, or there is an alertness that is needed from Nandini or KMF. That is just a simple process that can be set in, which has failed, of course. There is no doubt about it. Or a food safety authority has not been testing it. But here, there has to be an empowering for a consumer. So as a consumer, if I were able to go and check, if FSSA should have labs where if I have a doubt, slightest doubt, the ghee packet that I bought, so I will buy a new packet and give it for a nominal fee and they should be able to test it and immediate action should be taken. That is one process that should fall in place, whether it is Nandini or not, any ghee or any oil. Second thing is, what is the regular process of adulteration in these things? Why is ghee in the top 5 nasty list always of adulteration? Because of the cost behind it, because it's so easy, they can just bring in another very easily vegetable oil, specifically palm oil, which is way lesser, 1/10 of the cost. So that way there is a bigger feeding for the greed that they would want. So these have to be attacked at the root in the first place. And the other side is enabling the customers. That is also very important, I'm saying. Bring them also into this process of checking it. Let there be labs, easy access labs set up by FSSA. Let them go and check. It could be for checking the oil. It could be for checking this. It could be for floors tomorrow, whatever it is. In this specific case, we should not get distracted just that a very popular brand, Nandini, has been shortchanged.
Yeah.
It's about a whole product and a process that is behind which has been. For example, we should also think about what is a refined oil, how is it happening, what are the ills behind it. So, which is
can I ask you, Sir Anantu, since you've done extensive study on the health risks of fake counterfeit products like this, you know, they basically mixing some amount of real ghee but large amounts of palm oil and even coconut oil we hear. As it is, coconut oil is very healthy. But when you make, you know, these mixtures like this, you know, bisi bele baat. In
I would even
Kannada
question
language.
if you would have added more
Mixture.
coconut because today coconut oil is a bit more expensive than what it was some days back.
No, I want to ask you how detrimental is it for health? Sir Anantu, if you can give us a little feedback on that. Mr. Anantu, can you hear me? I think he has a problem with that. Yeah, Professor, you wanted to come in on that. You know, the
I
arrests.
just want to tell you that all the enablers are in place as per law.
Yeah.
You know, the food authority inspectors have been empowered to go and collect samples, and there is a method of collecting samples with witnesses, vagera, vagera, so that there is no kind of a coercion or vested interest while picking up samples and things like that. It has to be done in randomized manner. You know, it is all very scientific, that you know that how to do the randomization so that you can trace the, you know, the chain, the supply chain, and you can detect and then recall, you know, those kind of batches which are being found adulterated. So there's a very good, robust protocol in place, but they don't follow it. They don't feel that they're accountable to follow it. You see, the state authorities are least bothered about the safety and health of the citizens. You know, like very rightly said by Sanjay ji, that, you know, there is nothing like a food authority existing anywhere. You know, that's the kind of a picture which we get. But then I know that there are huge number of people recruited to manage this whole infrastructure in the state. But none of them are made accountable. That's what I'm trying to say. You see, those samples are supposed to be put on the website in terms of the reports. The authorized laboratories are supposed to do that. The law says a consumer can pick up a sample and go to an authority and get it tested. This is as per law. It is there. It is there. But the consumer has to be taught how to pick up a sample. Poor chap, they don't know. And then they go to a laboratory with a sample which is not credible. So naturally, the consumer sample will not stand in the court of law. So you have to do it in a very particular manner. How can you expect a consumer to do all this? Come on now.
Absolutely. You know, you're right. Absolutely right. Anantu is back with us. If you can hear me, sir, your take on the perils of consuming such fake products. Of course, fake is fake, you know, but when you look at the concoction, you're seeing palm oil, a mixture of coconut oil, and I don't know whatever chemicals that they are. I don't know what chemicals, but palm oil extensively, consumption itself is hazardous. Would you want to give us a little on the health risks?
Yeah. So any of these adulteration have another bigger peril in the form of they might need some more stabilizer, some more so something to neutralize the odor or the stability of it or the color of it. So they are adding more chemicals into it, which by themselves will be having a higher ill effect. And as a concoction, they will have a bigger thing. So palm oil by itself, just because of the processing, the way it is being processed itself, and even hexane as a residual is found in your end product, which by itself has been a proven carcinogen. There are so many things. The extraction process itself has so many chemicals which are in the process. And then when they are doing this adulteration, there are also the cheap chemicals that would come in, like I said, for various other factors, like to just bring a color or an odor to it. So all this as a combination, as a mixture, will have even higher ill effect, basically. That is what is even more dangerous, I would say. One part of it is such a big counterfeit and economical unlawful thing that they have done, and cheating by giving a product in the name of some other product, an established product. But I'm worried about the other things that are coming into it. There has to be a clear monitoring, and there has to be an authoritative work on this, or else we will be failing. The food safety has to really wake up. Those authorities have to really come up with very stringent ways and rules for this, and the monitoring, enabling this is the most important thing, I would say.
Surely. You know, finally, Mr. Sahai, what's your take on how this could be brought,
Let's not bring it to the consumer. That huge amount has been done for consumer protection, consumer awareness, all that is very good. And I hope and pray that the consumer is empowered enough to take on this mighty system which is termite ridden. Every single bottle, every single product, today by usage of blockchain technology, can be imprinted with marks by which if you follow that, you will know the sourcing of it. In South Africa, you have every single fish and every single supply chain and every single transaction can be followed by something called as a hyperledger. It is possible. It is a very doable thing. It is not a very costly technology. And blockchain technology is being used from cryptocurrency to literally anything and everything, and it can be done here. Point number one. Point number two is every single shop or every single wholesaler at that particular point, ghee can be tested. Testing ghee is not a rocket science, and there will be certainly some very mobile kits by which ghee can be tested. Number three, wherever this adulteration is happening in whosoever areas and it is hitting the retail chain, I think what has come to light based on that, criminal investigation needs to happen. I think if criminality cannot be put in these people, I don't think there are bigger criminals who are picking up 5,000, 10,000 rupees worth of stuff. Most important, we are running a huge empire. Might be worth 10,000, 20,000. I don't know what is the total market capitalization or the economic value of KMF. But suffice to say, you cannot run a health product without having a health intelligence. So you need to have the intelligence there. And only based on your intelligence, because you are the domain expert.
Correct.
You know what is happening where. And you also know your rotten eggs. And you also have clear-cut understanding of what happened in 2018, 2022, in Tirupati, here, and all across the country. Do they have even one business case study to understand how it happens and how would they move forward? They have absolutely nothing. So they are bystanders. And whenever a case of this nature happens, it is taken through the rigmarole or the toolkit of the police, and then it falls somewhere, and that is the end of the story. To set right FDA, I think it will take nothing less than 15 to 20 years if we really mean business. It is that important and that serious. So this is where we are, and the touching at a very ephemeral and a superficial level and picking up criminal cases and booking some KMF authorized dealer and 2-3 other characters. I found it so funny that in one on the news report it says that these people were trying to organize money for someone's marriage.
Wow.
So this is a level where it can go to. Jokes apart. So if you don't find anything else, start adulterating, start mixing, and you just tell me what is the number of outlets which has been impacted out of this in last 2 years. If you find 30-40% of the outlets in Bangalore are impacted, they don't deserve to get the license. They jolly well know what they are doing.
Correct.
And if they don't know, they are not fit to run their outlet. See,
This is absolutely shocking, especially Karnataka that bans heavily on Nandini products.
Animal fat.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So my puja is spoiled.
You know, let's just hope it's not gone into our system, but that's a wild wish, because I think for the scale of the racket we see here, it may have entered all our homes, and we're all ardent Nandini users at home. So it's disappointing, but also at the same time, I think it has exposed this racket enough for consumers now to be a little alert. As much as you say it's not on the consumers, it clearly appears with the failure of the system that we've got to, you know, keep vigil. On ours, from our end, we've got to be super alert. Thank you very much. I really appreciate Mr. Anantu, Sanjay Sahai and Professor Bija for joining us on this.